Joining us from ESPN is Louis Riddick.
What's up, man?
How are you?
I'm great. It's this week is winding down. This place is a lot more calmed down today from what I heard from
yesterday.
Right?
It was last 2
nuts.
days. It was crazy.
Yeah. That's why I'm not a dude. So I told Derek Bowler, I said, hey, man, Friday, hook me up.
If you tried to catch a ride share or a cab,
No, I've heard it's been crazy.
It's been
like you
bad.
can't do it.
And then
Right?
traffic's gridlock.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Man, I've been confined to my hotel. Man, I go from the hotel to our set. This is the first time I actually left the confines of the Paris. So I'm
He
good.
stayed in Paris, Beetle.
Oh,
You like it there?
I don't know. I've never stayed there.
The lobby area is beautiful because the sky is like the roof is painted like you're outdoors and stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool now. It's cool. All these hotels are good.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
I think
it's Vegas.
What do you think of? You've covered a lot of Super Bowls.
Yeah.
For Super Bowl City, I think they got it right.
For sure. We were talking about that on the ride over here. When everything's kind of close,
Yeah.
and you can kind of walk. I don't like Super Bowl cities where it's spread out everywhere.
Like Houston.
Yeah, right.
Phoenix,
It's all over the
Miami,
map.
Phoenix,
It's
Miami.
all over
you
the
don't know
place.
where everything is. That's
Yeah.
why we had this thing. We had this conversation about Indy, whether or not Indy is a good Super Bowl
Yes.
city.
Yes.
Perfect.
Well, the weather worked out too. That's one
Yeah.
of my favorite stadiums.
Right. I mean, and the combine, we'll be there in a couple
Yep.
of weeks after this. It's one of my favorite events on the
So
calendar.
you'll be at the Combine. You're just at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, man.
And so, obviously, in New England, we've been talking a lot about quarterbacks.
Of course you have.
Who'd you fall in love with out there?
At the Senior Bowl. I'll tell you who had. Look, Michael Penix looked fantastic. He's a great leader. He's got that air about him. Spencer Rattler had a really good week. Spencer's a guy who is kind of misunderstood.
It was in Oklahoma. Went
Yeah,
to South Carolina.
people are gonna need to find out some things about him from a maturity standpoint, and they'll be pleasantly surprised. And his team's offensive line sucked this year at South Carolina. He couldn't do anything. Bo Nix looked really good while we were down there. A lot of those guys look good. Now, the best ones, the guys who we're really going to be talking about when the draft rolls around, weren't there. One of them should have been. Jaden Daniels should have been there. But there was some good quarterback. There was some nice quarterback play. And Michael Penix, I think Michael and Bo really stole the show, and then Spencer in the game.
Yeah, and J.J. McCarthy's an underclassman. I didn't really understand this, but this is the first year that underclassmen can participate in the
Yep.
Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think McCarthy could have really changed the perception about him? Because I look at him as sort of more of the game manager.
Of course.
Because they played from ahead.
There's no question that going down there, Scott, is going to do nothing but enhance your status because the center of the NFL universe is there.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Tomlin's not coaching the game. He's coaching players during the game. I mean, during practice, because he's like, why wouldn't you be here to be up close with some of these guys and see them in a football environment and get to talk to them, know them? And these players, look, when you embrace that kind of thing, you can take your stock from like a second, third rounder and catapult yourself into the first round simply because people see you in that environment with their own eyes. You can't lose going there. I hate that crap when agents talk people out of going to the Senior Bowl and quarterback play. We were just talking about that coming over here. When you go to the Combine, do agents and players really think if you don't throw at the Combine, they're going to hold it against you? They don't hold it against you. They know you're throwing the wide receivers who you've never seen before, but they also know the cream rises to the top. C.J. Stroud, when he threw there last year, instantly.
It's the one-on-one.
Instantly, he was on it with these guys, and that's why I was like, look, I was like, there's no way that you should take Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud. There's no way. You see how C.J. played this year?
Sure did.
Did you see how he played? Anthony Richardson at that Combine last year, I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, these games are great. Like, I played the Blue
It's a
Gray
shame
game
that
back
you got
when
me
it was
too.
there. Yeah,
Me too.
So back in our day, so you go down to Montgomery, Alabama. They see you all week. Then I get MVP that game. I go to Combine. They invited me early to throw the DBs. So instead of me throwing for 2 days, I threw for 5. So I got so much exposure, and I climbed up draft boards from that.
You're like, what are you afraid of? Going, right? What are you afraid of?
Nothing. And if you could throw, man, give me the ball.
Exactly.
Give me the ball.
It's football, man. Stop trying to control everything to the point where you feel as though you're going to be hurting yourself if you're going into a situation that's a little bit unknown. No, if you're that dude, you're going to be that dude anyway. It really doesn't matter. And the scouts, they will not hold it against you if you're a top 2 or 3 player anyway. If you didn't have your best performance, you're only going to solidify it. Just go.
All right, when you're not eventually going to be doing media at some point. You're probably going to be in a front office somewhere.
Oh, man. You know
but
what?
You sit there at
That's
3.
such a
Why would you
rabbit
wanna
hole
do all that?
conversation.
Why would you wanna do all
Why?
that?
For the same reason everyone wants to do it. Because you're a part of something that's bigger than you.
Yeah.
That's true.
And because you get judged by a scoreboard.
Right.
In the media, there's no scoreboard. The scoreboard is like how much money you make.
Yeah, but it's a better schedule.
That's true. And the money's not bad either.
It's a great schedule.
The money's not bad.
I mean, you've got a good gig.
You will never hear me say that what we do right now and what I'm doing right now has not changed my life and my family's life, because it has. In terms of what I'm able to do, and again, the exposure. I've been able to talk about football, Scott, in a way that in the front office, no one would have never known what I think about football the way they know now.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking about Bill and what he taught me and Nick, and people are like, damn, you know all that? You were coached by both those guys at the same time?
Yeah.
Really? Let me hear a little bit more.
Well,
so,
that's-
yeah, it's been huge. The stage has been huge.
You sit there at 3 now. Now, we have a decimated offense. We
Sure.
have absolutely no talent whatsoever.
Yeah.
How risky is it to take one of those quarterbacks at 3 to not build your team to where maybe we could take a like the pass on a Marvin Harris? I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be sitting there at 3, and I want them to take him.
Yeah.
And maybe make a trade for Justin Field, or
Yeah.
get back up to the bottom of the first round, get Penix.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
what would you do?
Wow.
Because of such a dynamic player like Harrison sitting there, I would say take the quarterback.
Yeah.
But the whole
It-
game's
I'll-
predicated
I'll-
on explosive players.
You're right. You're right. And you know what? I just had that conversation with James Franklin before the Peach Bowl about the importance of wide receiver play now in all levels of football. You've got to have it. You've got to have explosive playmaking ability. And Marvin's different. But if I was that convicted on one of the quarterbacks still, if assuming you're going to sit still at 3, if I thought that either Drake or Jaden, whichever one's going to be there, or if you listen to some people, they think Caleb's not even the best one in the draft. And if he was there, it'd take a lot for me to not take him. Okay, but I know what you're saying, right? What quarterback do you want to bring into a situation where the offensive line is leaky? You have no consistent explosive element on the perimeter, and this guy's going to be like swimming uphill right from the get-go. You don't want to do that to him and waste a bunch of years, maybe risk damaging him, whatever you want. But at the same time, who's to say that you're going to ever have a chance to draft a guy of that caliber again at quarterback? Like, you can have a great supporting cast and have a crap quarterback, and it ain't going to matter either. So I don't know. If I was convicted on one of these dudes, I'd take the quarterback. And I'm getting down the road as far as the evaluation, but I don't know enough about the players yet, personally, to be able to say whether I'd pass on them or
It
not.
feels to me like Daniel's going to leap over May. I think Caleb's
I think
going to
he
go
already
1.
has.
And I think. Oh, okay.
Look, Jaden is. You played the position.
Yeah.
You watch
not,
this guy.
Not the way he
This
does.
dude does freaky stuff.
Yeah.
But people are going to, you know what they're going to do? They're going to do the same thing they did to Jared Goff, right? Remember when Jared came out and it was between him and Carson?
Yeah.
It was, have you seen Jared's lower body? He's not going to be able to last. He won't be able to take hits. And all. He's lasted just fine. Jaden Daniels, he is thin now. He's a small dude, but he is a freaking electric playmaker. That is not Drake May.
Yeah.
I don't care what
He's
you
more
say.
rigid.
That is not Drake May.
More pocket guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Caleb, forget it. Scott.
Freak show?
Oh, my God. I just put on Twitter the other day this 4th and 1 play. They were playing against, I don't know, maybe it was Arizona, Washington. It's an RPO. It's a quarterback run. It looked like a quarterback power that had an RPO built into it because the wide receivers were releasing downfield. The one technique beats the center. I mean, just instant penetration. And Drake's like, Caleb's like, well, damn, I'm not going to get the 1 yard. So he spins out of it, and his feet are perfectly parallel. And he takes the ball sidearm and throws the ball 25 yards opposite hash into the corner of the end zone like this. Zing! Touchdown. And I'm going, I stopped it. I was like, did I just see that? Right. And I said, I got to put this on social media.
I gotta
Like, you
search
can't
for it now.
coach that stuff.
Yeah.
That's, if he's wired right up here mentally, easily the best.
That's the
easily.
Mahomes trait.
Exactly.
The freakish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about Patrick. No one in this entire building, in this state, in this country will say, remember, Patrick went 10th.
Yeah.
He went 10th in the draft, and Andy moved up to get him. No one thought Patrick beat Patrick. As a matter of fact, when he was at Texas Tech, they were like, this guy's kind of wild. He's throwing all kinds of stuff up there that's crazy.
Yeah, they were playing Cliff for it.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, so now people are trying to poke holes in Caleb the same way. Don't do that. Just take him.
We're talking with Louis Riddick, ESPN
Bill Belichick is no longer the Patriots head coach, and
It's amazing to me.
He's not the head coach of any team.
It's weird to me. I don't get it. Julian had a great comment the other day, right, where he said what this tells you is that some teams aren't really serious about winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that a little bit. Now, I understand how people are going to try and hit Bill. They're going to say today's player doesn't jive with that kind of guy.
Getting a lot of that.
You know what? Today's player needs. You know what? There's a lot of crap wrong with today's player too. A lot of players want more for less, and we're in a more for less world now.
Yeah.
I want more, but I don't want to do as much. Pay me more, but I want to work less. I want to, I want more touches, but I don't want to work in practice. It's like, come on now. I'm sure. Looks like Bill better than me. You've been around him recently. I was coached by the dude. I understand how he rolls.
Same every day.
And it ain't for everybody.
Nope.
But if you want to win, and I understand the missteps in the draft and all that in team construction. Yeah, he probably needs to acquiesce a little bit and say, hey, look, all right, I'm going to listen to some. And I don't know if he would be so rigid as to not want to invite that in. But as far as game management and how to take apart a team and scout a team and pick out its weaknesses and utilize his strengths, there ain't nobody better in the history of the game. Nobody. And this guy doesn't have a job? How in the hell does that happen?
I tell you, it's like
He doesn't have a job.
the Vrabel stuff too. Like,
That's crazy.
too hard on
Look,
him.
man, look.
Intimidating.
We the world is different, man. And I get relationships are big. I'm big. Look, I have kids. You have kids?
Yeah.
Okay, I have
3.
4. I have 4 kids. Okay, I have 3 girls and a boy. And I get it. My mom and dad used to be able to talk to and discipline me in a way that I couldn't dream of doing now. My kids would look at me like, "Are you crazy?"
You get in trouble.
You have the cops there.
Yeah.
But it's gotten to a point now where it's swung so far the other way. You ain't gonna tell me that Nick Saban was like, I'm not having this. I'm done with this. I'm done with doing this kind of thing. Like, I'm Nick freaking Saban.
Do you think that factored into Saban?
I don't think there's any question it factored into his fatigue that he
Yeah.
talked about, where he said, look, I'm 70-something years old. I was running the defense this year. I don't have the same energy. You also don't have the same energy to deal with kids who are 18 and 19 saying, do you have a Lamborghini for me? You're going to pay me $4 million? Like, he's probably looking at them like, what?
NIL killed it.
Yeah, like, I'm not doing that. I think the game is decidedly less than this year because Nick isn't in it and Bill's not in it. You ain't going. These are titans in the game, in the history, and they both are not coaching this year. Are you kidding?
It's weird.
How the hell? It's very.
We're in another
it's kind of
universe, man.
sad.
It is.
It's sad.
I don't think anyone expects Saban to come back at any
No,
point.
he's working for us now.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. He's done.
Yeah.
He's Bill done.
Mm-hmm.
You think Bill's all done?
No. I don't think. He's
Okay.
done. And I tell you what. You want to know what would really make me go, hey, you know what? It's really time to get back in. Is to have a conversation with Bill, like, hey, dude, how about I help you out with this? Because I know how he rolls. I know what he likes. I was a part of it. That right there, that's the highest level. You work with a dude like that. I had a great conversation with him about 5 years ago up in Foxborough. We were doing a sports center up there. And Burge came over and said, hey, Bill wants to talk to you. I was like, what? He's like, he was standing out on the field just waiting. And we sat there and talked. I had a conversation with him unlike one I had ever had as a player. We talked about, he was like, I respected how you prepared, how tough you were, smart you were. You approach the game from a broadcasting perspective the same way. Then we did like 3 of their games. And in the production meetings, everybody would be like, Lewis, you start first. You start with Bill first, because that way we'll gauge whether or not we can ask him certain stuff. And you know how he is.
Yeah.
You ask him smart stuff, he'll give you everything. You ask him something stupid, he's going to look at you like, all right, when is this done?
It's every press conference.
But it never bothered me, man.
Yeah.
I love that part of it. Because I understand.
Me neither. I chuckle at it.
I understand why he's like what he doesn't have time for the BS.
beneath him.
Like, don't ask me stuff about I'm not going to talk about. But if you want to ask me about Gunnar Olszewski and why he was so good as a special teams guy, I asked him that question. His eyes got this big. He was like, only you would ask me that because only you watch that.
So with all the changes the Patriots have made, last one for you, are they better or worse than where they were 2 months ago? Staff-wise, front office, coaching, all of it.
What do you know about Van Pelt?
Feels
Oh, well, I played with him.
I know.
And
Great play action faker.
yeah,
by the way.
and I talked to Alex about a year ago, Browns-Steelers game. I don't know. I can't answer that question. And I don't want to say they're markedly better or they're worse. I don't know. I respect Gerard. I respect Alex. I respect the Kraft family because of what they've done. We'll see. Let me find out some more info. But the legend is gone. That's huge. You better be better. Because he's the standard.
Yeah.
And he's been for 2 decades. So we'll see.